Welcome, everybody. This is Ray of RebelEars.com with YL.
How you guys doing? Rebel Ears YL here, and you are tuned in to the Rebel Ears podcast.
Yeah, so this is the new year of 2021, first day. Just want to tell everybody Happy New Year's and, all that.
Definitely Happy New Year's. Shout out to everybody. We made it to another year, another blessing. And Rebel Ears, we have so much for you guys this year, and we thought we'd kick it off right with a brand new podcast episode.
Yeah, so with the podcast, I do know when it comes to New Year resolution, everybody is always focused on the first week, like, I'm going to get so much done. This is going to be the new year for me. Now, with us, we already implemented the things for the New Year's like 3-4 months beforehand.
Yes, definitely. Just for the listeners out here and for us also, it's very important that you kind of do your end of the year recap, reflection. I would say around October and November to go ahead and just reflect on what you've done and what you want to do more. And you start building your vision boards and, getting your calendars and everything already set for the new year. I don't think you should wait until December or even the new year, man. I just think you should go ahead and by the time you get to like October, November, the year is pretty much over. I think that's the perfect time to do your recap, and that's what we've done.
Exactly, because I see a lot of people, January 1st, they thinking like what they need to do. January 1st should already be, okay, I'm already 30, 40 days in on this thing, so let me go ahead and mark off on the checklist instead of just making it your first day. It should be like if it's over 20 days of something you started in 2020, then you're ahead of everybody else. With us, we already got YL's ebook coming out within 2 weeks. Definitely. So y'all be on the lookout for that. So many tips when it comes to like having reoccurring clients. Tips in the book I actually use myself. Not as much as I used to because I had the home studio, so I'm not really worried about building clientele as much as YL because when it comes to the clients he works with, he's going to different studios, but also he's building more clients for 2021 that's going to be, very beneficial for Rebel Years.
Definitely. And probably the more important part of building those clients is locking those clients in for when we, get our building and we build our studio, that we already have people to come in and keep the studio booked up. So that's one thing about keeping reoccurring clients. And, this ebook is going to help a lot of people just as well as Ray's ebook. These are things that we wanted to discuss with the people and the audience, and it's a lot that can be learned from it. And, as always, we guys appreciate you. We appreciate you guys for, just tuning in and listening to what we do have to say.
Yes, and a special shout out to all of our subscribers to the website at RebelEars.com. Thank y'all for, being members. Thank y'all for buying the packs, downloading the ebooks, getting insights from us, having, that one-on-one talk with us. We just want to say we thank everybody who listened to the podcast, read our blogs, or just, even DMing us, just saying they respect what we're doing for the insights and the value that we give. Because, as time goes by, you realize what you're passionate about, what you love, and you do want to blend in with what you're doing daily, especially as it becomes a job or a career. You want it to be something that you wouldn't mind doing for free.
Definitely.
How we started at SAE to where we at now.
Definitely. It's been a long journey. Again, thank you guys who've been rocking with us. Thank you to the new supporters, new subscribers, new listeners.
Exactly.
Thank you guys for coming on this journey with us. For those that are new, for this new year, me and Ray, we've been rocking since the first day of SAE, and it's been a blessing to just have another like-minded individual in your corner. And we've been building this team, and we've been building everything that we have going on, and we're just blessed that you guys want to be a part of it. So thank you.
Yeah. So for 2021, I'm just thinking on the aspect of what we started in 2000. What was it? 2015?
Yep.
15, right?
Going on 6 years. Yep.
And it was funny. Wow, 6 years went by like that.
Yeah.
But I'm just thinking on the aspect of when we first went to SAE, and we was working with other kind of like-minded individuals like us. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people was talking about it was a company we was going to start there.
Yeah,
It
I
was
don't
like,
even remember.
what, 6GG or GG6 or something like that?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, we were gonna start a multimedia company with a few guys that were in our class, and shout out to all of those guys too,
Yeah.
man. Great individuals, and things didn't work out, but I think it was just more of a timing thing, and it was 6 of us trying to do this, and I think it was just a little bit more complicated than just us two, and
Yeah, a lot of heads bumping to each other on different ideas, different tasks they wanted to get accomplished. And, it was just a start. But seeing where we at now, I knew for a fact that I was going to work with YL long term from the aspect every time I do like a stagehand show, like building these stages. YL was always there. When we started SAE, I saw a few people do Crew One. That was the first stagehand company that we worked at. And, the only person who I seen long term was YL. And then as time went by, we started doing audio visual gigs at different hotels, different events like the Delta Club.
Yep.
And I see YL there at different companies. We worked at same companies before, but we also worked at separate companies, and we just see each other like knowing for the fact that we was driven to keep moving forward on the fact that we love stuff that deals with sound, visuals, learning, behind the scene, front of house. It was just a lot of experience that we hold to this day that built the company that we have right now, and just looking back at how it started.
Definitely, and I think that was I think that's what did it for me too, man. Just already from class to outside of class to working these different gigs, just continuing to see somebody that's as driven you as you are and as interested in building a career in audio. I think it was just a matter of time before we just said, all right, we're ready to go ahead and make this thing official. And 6 years later, here we are, man, and 2021 is going to be the best year so far, definitely.
2020 was a great year for both of us because that's when we opened the website, 2020.
Yep.
Actually, yeah. We opened rebelears.com last year, and it was a lot of things that we was learning as time went by, from the aspect of creating the website, putting content on there, coming out with packs. As you can see on the website, we got a lot of content. And then the podcast started 2 years ago, 2019.
Right.
So it's just a lot that we've been implementing that we're going to be building on, especially for 2021. I know I'm coming out with another ebook. What it's going to be called, I didn't come up with a name yet because I'm still trying to implement on the fact that it's going to be something that's going to be engaging audio-wise. I know that. But I do want to come out with a book with my friend Jay Nolan that's going to be dealing with, getting your music out on commercials, shows, television. So that's going to be one thing that's
Shout out Jay Nolan.
Yeah, shout out to him. And the next time you catch Kevin Hart's recent stand-up that came out last year, Jay Nolan's song is actually at the intro, Re-Up. So that was a dope credit that he got for 2020. I know he's going to be getting some crazy credits for 2021.
Definitely.
Yeah. So for 2021, man, how's last year been for you with 2020 with COVID?
2020, I think 2020 was a year of, recognizing full potential, like who you are and what you're able to do. And it also made me kind of register with other people's problems. And I think a lot of us went through some huge, I guess you can say, like, we went through like moments in 2020 to where, we were forced to live up to who we said we were.
Yeah.
Especially with, people with families. I think 2020 was an eye-opening year for me personally, to where I actually realized and actually saw that, it's meant for me to put all of this time into this business versus, of course I have to pay my bills and take care of my family, but 2020 it literally showed me that having that free time with my family and having that free time to put into my business was more important than going to work.
Yeah.
and doing things that really didn't feed my soul and didn't feed my urge to be a better person. And, and like I said before, I also became a little bit more understanding and, more of a empath of as far as, other people's problems and other people's struggles, and understanding that 2020 wasn't a great year for everybody.
Yeah.
Well, for a lot of us, I think the biggest thing that we learned was you really don't need that 9 to 5 to be who you want to be, and you really don't have to continue on a journey that does not feed the urge that you really have, and who you want to be in your career and what you want to do with it. So,
Yeah.
2020 was a stepping stone year, definitely.
Yeah, for me too. Okay, a good tip I learned from this guy. He works at UPS. He is a top manager there, and he has over 50 full-times under him and over 300 part-times under him. And he told me, even though the money's good, he wants to give his children a company of his.
Exactly.
Because one thing he's told me, he said he could guarantee his kid a job there, but he can't guarantee his kids ownership of the company itself.
Exactly.
So it made me realize, like, wow, because you could have a successful career and not have ownership or percentage of the company itself, and it makes you think, like, when you retire, what are you retiring to?
Exactly.
Because, of course, if you have a retirement plan, of course, you have money in the bank, but you want it to grow, of course, as time goes by. So having ownership of something that you can pass down to your kids is very pivotal. And I know with YL, his son is going to be learning how to create his own YouTube channel, going to be dealing with audio, visual. So I know it's, a lot that goes into it, especially when you want your family to own what you started.
Exactly. And I mean, just to touch on that, I think that should be a lot of our goals. I think that is the goal for most entrepreneurs, that, you want to leave something to your children. I mean, you can go back generations to generations to where, a lot of people, parents and grandparents, didn't have anything to leave except for, a few, um, you know, materialistic type of deals, maybe a car or a house or land and things like that. But who's going to leave them a business? So something that will create them, or even leave them a skill. Like, my son might not want to be a mix and recording engineer, but him learning how to shoot what we shoot and how we shoot will be able to, that'll be a stepping stone for him, so he can build his YouTube channel and build his clientele and build his fans and different things like that. He's 12, so I think it's time for him to learn how to work a video switcher and, learn the importance of different angles on different videos and how to incorporate audio into it, man. Definitely.
Just having, multiple skill sets actually will help you in the long run. From the point, let's say he's working somewhere, he might be working as someone who builds stages. And then they need someone who know how to set up audio or who can set up a camera, and automatically he thinking like, well, Dad showed me this, so I can might as well help out. Then at the they want to hire him part-time or full-time just to take on that role. And that's how a lot of positions be filled, from someone with experience outside of, their realm.
Yep.
Yeah.
I've met, I forgot her name, but I was doing this AV gig.
Yeah.
At Omni Hotel in Atlanta. And it was this young girl. She was like 18 years old. And she's making like $600 a day. She knows how to program LED walls. Learned it from church.
Oh.
And I'm 28, and I'm making a good amount. I'm making good, decent money coming in as an AV technician, but I'm looking at her, and because she asked me, like, hey, you know how to work video walls? And I'm like, I know a little bit about LED walls. And she was like, oh, I got a job for you. And here I am, 10 years older than her.
Yeah, I got a job.
I got a 2000 baby offering me a job. And it was amazing to me that she was so young but so knowledgeable, and the money that she was making was greater than what I was making. So me knowing that and me seeing that, I was like, okay, I have to get at least my sons, or if my daughters are interested in this kind of work, like I have to teach them early.
Yeah.
By the time they're 18, they're making more than a 4-year college graduate by doing something they love to do. It's easy work. And I mean, like, you can't beat it coming fresh out of high school, making $500-$600 a day.
Mm-hmm.
It was an eye opener for me, definitely.
Yeah. And then even those $500-$600 a day, you got to focus on the aspect because she was working for an AV company, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, with 2020, it wasn't a lot of AV work.
Right. It wasn't.
So if she was smart, I believe she was a smart individual, especially making like that much at 18. Invest a lot of what you're making, save too, to, just prepare yourself for a pandemic like 2020 was. And then even making that much money, you're not working like 5-6 days a week. You're probably working like 2-3 times a week.
And the upside of that, if you are working 5 days in that week, because, you have conferences, you have, concerts, festivals that they might need your service at.
Yeah.
If you're doing 5 days out of the week, you just made $2,500 to $3,000 in 1 week.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't sweat because you're programming.
Yeah.
All you're doing is sitting behind a board and you programming this video wall, and it's just like, well, that's $3,000 in a week, and you didn't have to.
No manual labor.
No manual labor at that age. Like, because I was talking to her. And she was like, yeah, when I leave here, she came to the Omni with a suitcase. She was literally flying out that same day. She was leaving the Omni to Uber to the airport. I think she was flying out to go to New York or something to go run a video wall. It was crazy, bro. I was like, I got to get my kids in this early, man.
Yeah, and that shows you from the aspect of like, kids learning in church. I'm not going to lie. When I started learning what I learned at SAE, I was doing the sound at my church.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. That's actually what got me into sound. I grew up in a household where everybody played instruments. My mom sung. She led praise and worship in the church. My dad played bass. My brother played bass and drums. I grew up playing the piano. I played a few different instruments. I quit them all. But like that's what got me interested in, because I would be sitting in church, and I went to a fairly huge church, and sometimes you would hear feedback in the mic, and you would, everybody would look back.
They all look back like,
yeah, where the sound booth is, so everybody looks back at the sound booth, or nobody's looking at the pastor or at the band like, what's going on? You know where to look. And it just piqued my interest. Like, I wonder, how I can get into doing that. And, I never got a chance to do it. But like actually growing up in the church and sitting back there by the sound booth is what actually just got me like really intrigued, and like, I need to learn how to work this board. They had this huge Allen and Heath board back in the day, and
those are the best.
It looked like a spaceship to a little kid, and that's why I was just like, man, I have to learn how to do this because it just looks so cool,
Yeah, we seen so many of those for live performances, like Allen and Heath.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we had a Behringer. We had 32 channel
X32 Behringer.
Yep.
Yeah, that's probably like one of the most common. That and the LS9 for live sound. Any live sound heads out there, y'all know. AV guys, you guys know also. Yeah, man. So, okay, I got a question for you when it comes to live sound.
Yeah.
What tips for anybody who want to get involved in live sound, or and then I'll touch on what your answer.
Yeah.
Anybody wants to get involved in live sound, we'll just go audio, because the production side of live performances, it's a lot that goes into it. But just for live sound, what advice would you give, say, 15-year-old kid that doesn't go to church or doesn't know anybody that does that work? What advice would you give them to try to get their foot in the door?
Their foot in the door if they don't go to church, right?
Mm-hmm. If they don't really have no access to learning how to be a live sound engineer.
Well, one thing they could do, they can volunteer at the church. They don't have to be a member. They could say they want to do like some volunteer work to learn how to use the system. That's like basically free labor.
Definitely.
anybody who wants to learn how to use the system, because
Kind of like
there's
an internship.
yeah, but of course, with some church members, of course, the doors are always open. But when it comes to their equipment, some churches might not be open to do that.
Right.
But that's a start for anybody who's wanting to, learn the system.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when it comes to outside of church, I'm thinking on the aspect of seeing if there's any volunteer work when it comes to like building stages. If there's any out there, you probably just gotta, do some research online.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think like outside of church, because that's where majority of kids are learning, especially if
it's a kid-friendly environment also.
Yeah, especially they're investing in the equipment for the church. Anything for God.
Right.
You want to give God the highest quality and the highest praise.
Mm-hmm.
Amen. But when it comes to that, like I was saying, just try to do some volunteer work, look around, do some research on, if they're doing any, live sound downtown, Centennial Park, seeing if there's a way you can like sit behind the scene, like FOH, front of house. That's basically the guy who's doing the mixing, in front of the stage. Like, let's say you're in the crowd and you see like this blocked off section with a guy with a mixing console. That's front of house. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people don't even realize, like, you could look over and see exactly what he's doing. Definitely. And some front of house engineers are friendly enough. They'll like, if you're cool, they'll let you sit behind them and watch what they're doing. So that's someone who wants to learn like live sound. And anytime there's like a festival, music festival, or like an event outside, I don't recommend this all the time, but if you see someone with a mixing board, ask them if you could just sit down and watch them. If you have any questions, when it's quiet, you don't want to, ask questions when they're mixing and trying to get the levels right. But that's one way to, learn live sound for free.
Definitely. And to touch on that, that mentorship, and I know we spoke on that on our last episode, of just having someone to teach you, for those who are listening and watching, who are trying to get into a certain industry and you don't know how to, man, you got to find somebody who likes you. They got to like you.
Yeah.
But somebody who really likes you and they like teaching. And
they don't mind dealing with you.
And they don't mind dealing with you. I think that is a great point to make. Even when you're a child, if you're 20, if you're 30, if you're 60, if you don't have the resources and you don't know where to go, I think the first thing you should do is look for the places where you will find those people. Go into the doors where you will find those kind of mentors and those type of environments. And to touch on that, just to piggyback on it, on another level, what you can also do is, let's say you've met somebody at church or you've been able to do some volunteer work. The biggest thing that I've taken out of live sound is find out what is the most common used board.
Yeah.
The most common used gear, and you learn it. You research the manual, you YouTube it, because a lot of people get those live sound jobs just because they know that board. Like, okay, let's just say that you can't get an internship at a church. And you go to that church and you say, hey, man, what kind of board is that? And they tell you the exact kind of board it is. It's time for you to go home and put your nose in the books, man. Learn that board, learn that board. Because what you can do next time is when next time you go back to that church and you have your knowledge up, then you can say, hey, if you need help running this board, I know this board like the back of my hand. They'll be so impressed that you know this one board. That one board will get you 15 different jobs.
Yep.
So find somebody to teach you. If you can find somebody to teach you and learn that one main gear, just like when we interviewed Devon Ellis Grant, he was talking about he became a decorated audio engineer because he was like one of the only guys back in the day who really knew the SSL. He really took his time to go learn the SSL because that board was huge back then and still is now, but it was so huge back then to where he got so many jobs just because he know how to work this one board. Exactly. And I learned that from a lot of A1s also when I was doing A2 work is, hey, learn this board and you'll always, have a job. So
That's true. The most common microphone is the Shure 5758. So knowing those mics, you gotta understand. Okay, yeah, it's a dynamic, it's a omnidirectional. The SM58, if I'm correct, because the SM57 is kind of like a drum mic in a way.
The 57, I think, is the most common. It's just your regular handheld.
Oh yeah, the SM57 is the stage mic. SM58 is like
the SM58 it's another version. The Shure, it's another version of the 57. The kick drum mic. You're talking about the B52.
Oh yeah,
the Shure B52.
Yeah, you're right.
They use that a lot in live sound too when you're dealing with bands and things like that.
Exactly.
But yeah, learn your gear, learn your microphones, whatever the most common thing is that people are using, man. Make sure you learn that, bro. Definitely.
Yeah, of course. It will help you to be successful knowing that, okay, let's say some time goes by, you haven't used the board in a minute, but it's like driving a car. I would say riding a bike, but I haven't rode a bike in X amount of years.
Yeah, me either.
Yeah, but it's like, driving a car. It could be a whole week you don't drive. You get behind that wheel, you be like, okay, let me adjust the seat. Here we go. But like I said, when it comes to like learning the equipment, learn something new. Like Lee and I just invested in an Atom Mini by Black Magic. It's basically a video switcher for 4 different cameras you can use at one time to like have that visual effect of it being like a full studio. Right. One on me, one on YL, one on the person we're interviewing, and one that's focusing on all 3 or 4 of us. So that's something that we invested in that we're going to learn soon. There's a lot that we're going to be invested for 2021. I'm trying to think what else we're going to be trying to implement for 2021.
Let's see, man. It's so much.
Yeah, let's go through our to-do list for 2021 real quick.
Well, we know the website it'll be more packs coming.
Yeah, more packs.
A lot more producer packs coming.
Yeah.
We got more ebooks coming. We have the interviews that we're gonna have set up for 2021 are gonna be groundbreaking.
Yeah.
We're gonna get some real deal guys. Not to say that the people we've already interviewed have not been that deal, but we're gonna be building on that. Definitely, it's gonna be a lot of guests in the house with Rebel Ears that you guys don't want to miss. We're just gonna keep grinding. We're going more into multimedia.
Yeah,
like Ray was just talking on. We're going more into video production. The YouTube page, the YouTube channel is gonna go up this year.
Yep.
Way more visuals for Rebel Ears, so you guys can really see our faces and not just hear our voices.
Yeah.
Way more mixing, way more recording. God willing, we might better find us a building this year to try to start building our own personal studio. It's a lot going on. We're looking forward to dealing and working with 400 Northside in that building, and shout out to Zoe and Kamali over there.
Shout out to them.
Man, when I tell you we have a lot going on, it's a little bit too much to name, and then a lot of it will be a surprise. We don't want to give you guys all of our sauce right now, considering this is the first episode of 2021. But you guys can just stay tuned and just ride this journey out with us, man. You guys are gonna see us grow in a tremendous way.
And of course, if you have any questions at all, something you want to learn or something you want to know, of course, you can follow our multiple accounts on Instagram or TikTok, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch.
Another thing for 2021, Clubhouse.
Oh, yeah.
We will have a Rebel Ears channel for Clubhouse where we can have live discussions. And
yep.
It's going to be dope, man. We got a lot of things for you guys this year.
Exactly. And I already know for a fact on the list of people we're going to be interviewing, some of them going to be Grammy award-winning engineers, going to be getting some multi-platinum plaque engineers, producers also. So just be on the lookout for those. Working on a lot, like I was saying earlier, for 2020. Just trying to implement a lot of things that can help people to get more of their songs on platforms like how to get your music on movies and film. That's going to be one of our main focus for 2021, showing people the steps it takes to own your masters, own your rights, and actually come out with a project and getting your project used for like different, avenues from commercials, radios, films, television shows. Like it's endless of the opportunities you can, acquire if you know the steps it takes. So, also we're going to be interviewing a director of one of the board of directors for NARAP.
So, yeah, that's going to be dope.
Yeah, NARAP is actually a company. You can go to narip.com, NARIP.com. When we was at SAE, I went through a few seminars when they came through. They had like some of the board of directors. I think the owner also came through, and it was basically about, the steps it takes to get your music played on films and shows, like getting approved through different music supervisors. And from the music supervisor, they put it on shows or movies. And just learning that aspect got me thinking like, man, I should be an artist again. But, being an artist, that's a full-time job. And, the focus on being an artist is bigger than a lot of people realize, because there's a lot of artists saying like they wish they had like the life before, just
right.
Relax without it being like daily performances, exposures, interviews, not much time with their family. But, you do what you love, and sometimes that takes, weight from, doing what you're basically, yeah. I'm trying to think what else for 2021, because 2020 was basically self-quarantine, getting everything you wanted mapped out.
We built a strong foundation in 2020.
Yeah.
Started in 2019.
Mm-hmm.
And we were able to build on that in 2020. 2021, I can't stress it enough, guys. I think 2021 is going to be one of those years to where you guys really see the growth. And we're going to be touching on so many different subjects, man, from the business of music, from marketing, promotion, to doing social media marketing and different things like that. We're going to be talking about contracts and labels, and as we learn, we like to also teach. So it's a lot of different courses we'll be taking this year. We're actually going to try to start getting some courses on, for ourselves, actually, from different engineers and different producers.
Yeah.
Maybe trying to put out a few courses on our platform that you guys can also learn from a few of our mentors and from the people that taught us. And, they can teach their own courses. It's so much to look out for. And, I would say just stay tuned to the podcast, the blogs, the website, definitely. It's going to be a lot of, and definitely the social media at Rebel Ears ATL or Rebel Ears Post.
Yeah.
On Instagram, Rebel Ears ATL on Facebook. Like you said, TikTok, Clubhouse, Twitch. Just try to stay tuned with YouTube. Try to stay tuned with a lot of these different platforms that we have to spread our knowledge. And there's going to be a lot of giveaways this year.
Yep.
We got merch coming soon. And it's endless, man. 2021 is going to be that year to where you guys really see us grow into a household name. Definitely.
Yeah. So this was a quick episode just, for 2021. Just want to say thank you for everybody who supported us since the start of the podcast, since the start of the website. Podcast started 2 years ago. Website started last year. And, it's slowly building, but, it's a work in progress, but I love the work.
Definitely, man. I'm super excited. Again, thank you guys. Happy New Year. We appreciate you guys for all of the support.
Yeah.
For all of the listeners, all of the viewers, all of the followers, all of the subscribers. We do this for you guys. And, you guys are going to, I know you guys are going to stay on us and make sure that we continue to put out quality content. And 2021 is going to be a great, great, great year. And I'm praying that 2021 is also going to be a great year for you all as well. And we'll go through this journey, what we call life together.
Mm-hmm.
And again, Happy New Year. It's a blessing to make it to a new year. And
yes, it is.
This is Rebel Ears Podcast.
Yeah. And from everybody at rebelears.com, just want to say thank you for listening and keep tuning in.
Holla.